I start recording right now. Okay, so משוואה ריבועית is a משוואה with the following template. So we have x squared plus x plus some number. So I just write מספר equals 0. Now each one of them has a מכנה. So the x squared has the a and the b. No, let's put a different color to it.
That's not the problem. That's not the thing that was hard for me. It's that whole, it's the beginning of that question. Once I get there, I'm okay with that.
Okay, so
whatever, we can go through it more. I don't care, but I'm saying
it's good that you tell me. So let me just finish this two more sentences, and then we can go to the beginning. This is the template, and so the x squared has the a, the מכנה a, x has b, and מספר has c. And it has to be equals 0. And then we do the formula that you know. Now, in the formula, we have two options. Eventually, we get to minus b, and we have to put it in parentheses, if you remember. I told you that. It's just a lot easier. So we get to, here is b squared minus 4ac, and everything divided by 2a. Sorry. Okay, now the number after you're doing the square. So if the answer of the square, sometimes if it's a number, it means that you have two answers. If this is 0, it means that you have only one answer. I think we covered it last time, but just to make sure. And sometimes you have here a negative number. So let's just write here שלילי. Okay, שלילי is negative. If you have a negative number, it means that there is no answer. Okay? Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, what was the problem with the beginning of the question?
No, you know how we started where like it's like the question that we did on the practice question, right? Like where like it had on the bottom the x squared plus x, like the denominators, right? And then we like broke them up.
Oh yeah, okay, I understand.
So that they were like every bottom one had a different number. Like I just didn't know how to work with that.
Okay. So that's a different situation. And let me, okay, we can do it again. But the idea is whenever you have a משוואה, to get to this template. And once you have it, you know how to solve it. Now, let's go over it again. So the idea whenever you have שברים is to find מכנה משותף. Okay. Now, for that, we need to understand what is גורם משותף. I will just start explaining something. If it's too easy for you, just let me know. So, what is גורם משותף? By the way, this is also, there are some videos on my channel to explain.
What'd you say?
There are some videos, short videos on my channel to explain that on YouTube, but let's go over it now. Okay. So, what is גורם משותף? If you have something times something, each one of those somethings is גורם. For example, if you have 2 times x, 2 is one of the גורמים and x is the other one. If you have x times x, so x is one of the גורמים and x is another גורם. Okay? Now, same if you have x squared. X squared is actually x times x. So x has two go'im. X squared has two go'im, x and x. Now, even if you have x times y, so x is one of them and y is the other. This is just, it doesn't have any logic to it. This is just a definition of the word govem. Okay, that's the definition of the word. If you have two things that are multiplied by each other, each one of them is called govem. All right? Now, let's say you have something in parentheses, x plus 2 times 3 plus x. Here in the middle, you have a multiplication. So each one of them is a go'em, 1 and 2. Does it make sense? Do you have any questions?
No, it's good.
Right. So what are the go'emim? I'm not sure what's the word for go'em in English. Sorry. What are the go'emim of x by the power of 3?
X times x times x.
Yes. So they have, so it has 3x to it, and each one of them is the go'em. Now, let's keep on going and do stuff like that. So if I have x, and then I have x plus 1, what are the go'emim?
The x.
X is one of them?
1.
No. So every time you have something multiplied by the other, so x is 1, and x plus 1 is 1. Okay, because we multiply all of the thing in the parentheses with the x.
Okay.
If it doesn't make sense, just let me know.
Okay.
We'll try to figure out how to explain. So also, for example, if I have a number, let's say I have 3 and then x plus 1, what are the go'emim?
So 3 and the x plus 1.
Yes. Okay. So the idea now, the question we did last time was 3x squared plus x plus 2, 3, sorry.
It was like
3,
x minus
3x minus 3 equals x plus 3 and 3x squared plus 3. So the first thing we need to do is to find all the go'emim of all the mechanim. Let's take each one individually and solve it. So we have x squared plus x. No, you know what? Let me start with the end goal that we want to achieve here. Each one of them has different mechane, right? It means we cannot we cannot add or subtract. We cannot do anything with that. So we have to find a common denominator. Only when we find a common denominator to all of the parts of the question, we can start actually doing that. So we want to find out what is the common denominator. Now, it's a really straightforward way to do it, okay? And by the end, we just want everything to be under the same one. And then after we have everything on the same one, we can ignore it. And then we have just a regular equation. So let's start with the first one. We have x squared plus x. We need to see if there is any גורם משותף, I'm not sure again I said in English, any גורם משותף with those two parts. In order to do so, we need to divide everything to all of its גורמים. So we know that x squared is actually x times x.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that x, if it's all alone, it's like x times 1.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the common one?
The x.
The x. So we can put it outside of parentheses. And then what can we write inside?
X.
X plus
1.
1. Okay, so we took this, we write it here. Then we took each one, sorry, each part, and we divide it to its, how do you say it? To its, we find out all of the גורמים of each part of it. Once we found out the גורמים, we found out that there is one גורם that is common to both of them, which is the x here.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can put it outside of the parentheses, and then we can fill in the parentheses accordingly.
Got it.
Now, let's do it again. Tell me what to write.
All the steps.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Just now you want to do it for the first dominator, and just let me know what to write.
The first one's x times x.
Mm-hmm. So let me just copy it here so it will be very more organized. So the first one is x times x, yeah? X times x.
X times 1.
Mm-hmm.
So that x in parentheses, and then put into parentheses x plus 1.
Great. Now the second one. 3x minus 3.
Okay, so 3 times x.
Mm-hmm.
And well, like 3 times 1.
Mm-hmm.
So 3, and then in parentheses x minus 1.
Perfect. Now this one.
3x times x.
Mm-hmm.
3 times what?
Mm-hmm.
So 3x and in parentheses x minus 1.
Think again.
Well, there's two sets of parentheses. Right, there's the x.
Let's do step by step. So and the first one.
X plus 1.
Let's do that. What is the גורם משותף between those two parts?
3.
3. So that's it. This is the first step. 3, that it's outside of the parentheses. Now what should we put inside?
X. And then a 1.
Yeah, but there is another x here. All right. So x times x, which is x squared.
Okay.
Because here there is no x. If there was an x here, that was not a problem, and we could have done it, but we can't.
Okay.
So just minus 1, yeah. Does it make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, you're right. There is another set of parentheses because this parenthesis here, x squared minus 1, has 2 gormim to it. And this is something you just need to be familiar with this formula. So, and we covered it last time, but just let's make it clear. Whenever you have, let's write it here. Whenever you have x squared minus 1, you can write it as 2 parentheses, x plus 1, x minus 1. And it comes from the formula that if you have a squared minus b squared, you can write it as a plus b, a minus b. Do you have this written down?
Yeah.
Okay. So actually 1 is like 1 squared because it's the same, and this is how it can work. Understood?
Yep.
All right. So something is wrong here. So we can, this is 3 times 1, and this is x. You know what, we don't need to write this 3 times 1, sorry. These parentheses can be x plus 1, x minus 1, and we have this 3 here. So that's it. We can't continue from here. There is no other gormim to those numbers that we have here. So this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. And now we want to find a common denominator. How can we do it? We need a denominator that has all of those parts together. So we'll start with the first one. The first one is just x. Let's take another color. Again, let's do a recap. We had this question. We took each one of the denominators. We divided each part of the denominators to its gormim. We saw if there is a common gorem to each one of them. Here we have the x. So we put it outside of the parentheses and we filled in the parentheses. Here we had the 3. Here we also had a 3, but we can also divide the parentheses again to 2 parts. Now, how we can find the common denominator? So we need something that will have all of those together. So let's start with the first one. The first one is just x plus 1. Now we go to the second one. Does it have anything that the first one has?
No.
No, so we just write it. 3, x minus 1. Now let's go to the third one. Does it have anything that is already here?
Yeah.
Which part?
3. The 3x minus 1.
3x minus 1, okay, and what else?
And the x plus 1.
Great, so we don't need to add anything else. This is the common denominator because this one exists inside here, this one exists inside here, and also the third one exists here. That's why the word common is used here. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Now, let's just reform it. So it will be a little bit nicer. We can write 3x, x plus 1, x minus 1. It doesn't really matter. It just looks a little bit more organized. And since we have multiplication between each of those, the order doesn't matter. Is that clear to you?
Yeah.
All right. If it's not clear, if you have any questions, just stop me. You don't need to
Okay.
wait for me to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we did that. We found the common denominator. Before we continue, let's find some more. Okay, I want you to practice it. So let's say, I'm not going to write the whole question. Yeah, you know, okay. Let's say the המונים לא משנים. So let's say we have something here. It doesn't matter what we have here. And here we have 2x minus 2 plus, doesn't matter what we have here because we're not going to solve all of the questions. Here we have 1 minus x squared. And that's going to be equals to, let's just try something else. Yeah, so let's do 2x squared minus 3x. Yeah, the floor is yours.
Mm-hmm.
But explain to me, so if you can think out loud, what are we looking for? What are we going to do?
For something in common. So the bottom one would be, it's 2 times x, and then 2 times 1.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So 2, so it'll look like 2, and then in parentheses, x minus 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then x is 1. Well, I guess 1 times 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then x times x.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Do we have anything in common?
No.
No. Okay, let's continue.
Okay. 2 times x times x.
Mm-hmm.
3 times x.
What's common?
The x's.
Okay. So what do
so
I write?
In parentheses, would you write 2x?
Mm-hmm.
And then 3 minus 3.
Minus 3. Yeah, correct. Perfect. Now, I did that intentionally. That is true that there is no common one between those two, so there's nothing we can put outside of the parentheses. But look at this. Does it remind you of something?
The second one. No, it doesn't remind me of either of them.
This is the hint I have for you. That was a fast hint.
So, yeah, but it doesn't have a. But the one is not one. You're saying like there's an imaginary 2.
Yes. So can you open the notebook with the formula? And the reason I asked you to do it is that you will have in mind where is this formula. I mean, of course, I can.
Yeah, I have it. It's open.
So look at that and see if you can apply it to this.
So then what? So then it's 1 minus x and then 1 plus x.
Exactly. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Now let's try another one. I think I understood what to do. It just we need to break down some questions and then give you practice.
And then practice all day, every day.
Yeah, and give you practice for those parts of the question. Okay, just a second. I think it was here. There is something I want. Okay. Good. Let's do another one. So again, I don't write the denominators because it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
So you have something, and here you have x squared minus 8x plus something 8x minus x squared equals something x squared minus 64. Go ahead.
Okay, so the first one, x times x.
Yeah, so let me write it here. The first one is x times x, correct?
8, then 8 times x.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be x on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And then x minus 8.
Mm-hmm. Great. Okay, second one is
8 times x.
Mm-hmm.
X squared.
Good.
So x times x.
Yeah.
So x on the outside.
Yeah.
Parentheses 8 minus x.
Perfect.
X times x. Well, okay. And
Sorry,
then
what were you saying?
no, nothing. And then what? Just 64.
Yeah,
But
64. We need to find out if we can write it as a few.
well, if we would use that formula, it wouldn't, like the one we used before, it wouldn't work.
Yeah. You say it wouldn't work?
It wouldn't work. But if,
Why?
like you're saying, why wouldn't it work? Well, I have to change the number probably to 8.
To what?
To 8.
Okay. So what do you want me to write here?
So with using the first one, like the x, and then in two separate parentheses, x minus 8, and then x plus 8.
Exactly. Perfect. Very good. Now, I just remembered here you did it very nice, but we didn't find the common denominator. So let's go back here. Let's find the common denominator, and then we can continue with the other one. So after we divided each one of them to the goal mean, how can we find the common one? What is the common one?
The x minus 1.
No. If you remember here, we found those 3, and then we find something that has all of them inside, right? Let's do the same here. So we have these 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to find something that has all of those inside.
We'll each have the 2.
2, yeah. So the first one we just copy it because we have nothing yet, so we just copy it.
The x minus 1.
X minus 1 is here. Yeah.
But now up to the second one now.
Excuse me?
The second one now.
So just copy it?
No, because we have the x minus 1 now. It's like not the same.
We have the x minus 1 here, but we don't have the x minus 1 here.
No, so you have to be it's both of them.
Yeah. And
The whole thing.
The whole thing. Okay, again, I did it intentionally. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you just have to copy all of them.
All of them down. Mm-hmm.
And this is the right answer. Now let's do the same here.
Well, the x, bring down that whole thing. So the first, x and x minus 8.
First, we copy the first one. First thing, we copy the first one. So x minus 8, yeah.
Okay, so then just the 8 minus x.
Yeah.
And then the x plus 8.
Yeah, perfect. Does it look a bit easier than half an hour ago?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, since you mastered it, let's teach you another trick that will make your life a bit easier. So another formula, if you can write it down.
Mm-hmm.
If you have A minus B, I always add a lot of parentheses, and sometimes it looks redundant, but it really helps. So try to stick with that. If you have A minus B, it's actually the same as writing minus and then B minus A. Can you write this down?
Mm-hmm.
Now let's have some examples. And now for the examples, I will not use the parentheses, so we'll not waste a lot of time. But let's say we have 2 minus 1. How much is 2 minus 1?
Minus, like to flip it into the other side, it's the minus and then 1 minus 2.
Yeah, so it's like minus and 1 minus 2. Now how much is 2 minus 1?
How much is 2 minus 1? 1.
1. How much is 1 minus 2?
Minus 1.
Minus 1. So you see, minus 1 is actually plus 1. So it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's do another one. 10 minus 5. How much is 10 minus 5?
Minus, and then parentheses 5 minus 10.
5 minus 10. Now 10 minus 5 is 5, and 5 minus 10 is minus 5, and this is why it's true. Okay, now let's make things a little bit more interesting. If we, according to this formula, if we had x minus 1, we can actually write 1 minus x. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, let's go back here. Here we have x minus 8, and we have 8 minus x. And we just learned that, let me write in a different color now. We just learned that actually x minus 8 can be minus 8 minus x.
You should add the negative before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is according to the formula. And why? How does it help us? Because here we have x minus 8, and here we have 8 minus x.
8 minus x.
So instead of writing them both down, we can just turn one with the minus, and then we have only one parenthesis. So how do we do it? We said that x minus 8 is actually minus 8 minus x. So let's go back here. And instead of this, we can do x times minus 8 minus x.
Mm-hmm.
It looks a bit complicated, but
after
you practice it a few times, it will be better.
Mm-hmm.
And again, to make it to so it will look even better, we can do minus x and then 8 minus x.
Mm-hmm.
And now, let's imagine we didn't do that. Let's do the common denominator again. I want you to do it, yeah.
Okay.
So we start we just copy the first one. No questions asked. We just copy the first one.
Okay, so the second one we already have.
We already have it, so we don't do anything.
And then just add the x plus 8.
So the second, here we have x minus 8. So we also need to flip it. How do we do it?
Minus.
Minus.
And then parentheses 8.
Yeah, and then x plus 8. So now we can see we have the minus here. We have the 8 minus x here, and we only need to add the x plus 8.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is simpler than this one. Now, both are good answers. Both will give you the full points for this question. But one will take you more time than the other.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. I don't care if things take time.
No, so it's not a matter of time spent, it's a matter of complexity. So when the longer the מכנה משותף is, the more complex the question becomes.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be harder for you to solve it. So this is the reason. We want to make it as easy as possible. It doesn't matter, the time does not matter that much. Now let's do the same with here. We can also do it here. Okay? So look at that. If you remember, we had those three מכנים, 1, 2, 3. You found in pink the right common denominator, but we can make it even easier. So how can I do it?
So the first one you can do 2, and then in parentheses minus. Again, we'll just copy the first one down.
Copy the first one down. 2 x minus 1. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So you can flip it to
which one? Flip which one?
the second part, that one.
This one.
The x minus the 1 minus x.
Yeah. Okay. So what should I write instead?
Net minus the outside, and then in parentheses x minus 1.
Yeah, and this one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And now let's go back here. What should I do?
So you have the x minus 1.
Yeah.
So the way you need the negative and x plus 1.
Exactly. So I put here the minus sign, and it's 1 plus x, but x plus 1 is the same. Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm. And then there, can you switch it, the 3 and the 2x?
You can, but it won't help you.
Okay.
So we need to ask yourself, does x exist here? No, we need to write it down. No. Does this term exist here? No, we need to write it down. So we just copy it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I think we should do another one.
Yeah.
Let me find a question here online. Just a second. I think I sent you some. Okay, yeah. Let me look. So everything here is recorded. Yeah, you can just do it again. Mm-hmm. By the way, the best thing is after the lesson. If you can do it right away, that's the best. But if not, whenever you can, just start the recording. See the first question, try to do it yourself. Whenever you can, just play the video until you have the answer for the next part. Let's say watch 5 minutes and then stop, try to continue yourself. That's how you should do it.
Okay.
All right. I found something here, but it's relatively easy. Let me see something more. Okay, let's do this. I think it's might be easy, but it's good practice. So we have, let's do now the normal question, but we don't solve everything. We just find the מכנה משותף.
Okay.
So 4x plus 8 minus 3, 2x minus 10 equals 5/8. Go ahead.
Okay, so the first one. 4 times x, and then 8 times 1.
Right, 8 times 1. But can you divide it to something else?
2 times 4.
2 times 4. Yeah. Because now we have something common between those two.
Yeah. The 4. So put the 4 on the outside and then x plus 2.
Yes. Okay.
2 times x, and then 2 times 5.
Yeah.
2 and then x minus 5.
Perfect. And 8?
2 times 4.
Yes. Now, how do we do the common one?
4.
So we just, we copy the first one, okay? Copy the first one, yeah?
Should I flip the second one?
Excuse me?
Should I flip the second one? Like the 2,
So
like
if,
x minus 4?
if you flip it, instead of...
I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah, it went, I mean, if this guy here was 5 minus x, yeah,
Then
you should have flipped it, but it will not help you here.
Okay. Okay, so bring down the whole thing.
So this is 2.
It's
right?
2.
Do you see here a 2?
Yeah, inside
Inside
the
a 4. So 4 is actually 2 times 2. So you don't need to put it here. You don't need to copy the 2, only the x minus 5. Now, if you were to put the 2 here, that would be perfectly fine. You will get all the scores for this question, but it will make it a little bit more complicated.
Okay.
So it's good to notice that. Yeah, and here we have 2 and 4.
Yeah.
So
we don't need to do anything.
Yeah, so this is where it's a bit tricky. So we have here 2 and we have here 4. The 4 exists here, but the 2 is...
That 2 doesn't exist there.
The 2 is inside the 4. So it does not exist here, because if we want to do it, let's say if we want to be more accurate, we can look at the 4 as 2 times 2. And I just copy it. So if we look at these 2, yeah, we have 1, 2 here. So we don't need to write it down again. But here, here we have 2 times 2 times 2, right? Because 4 has 2. So we can take, we have here 3 2's. And here we have...
So you need to add one more.
2's. So we have to add the third one.
Got it.
Okay? It's a lot of little tricks, but you just need to practice. So this is the common one. And then you can write again just 8, because 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Now, if you didn't do it and you didn't copy anything here because you thought that 2 and 4 exist in the 4, you will lose really small amount of points. Okay, so it will be still okay. I would say you will get still 90% of the points for this question.
Okay.
Not exactly sure, but more or less, because it's not a really big mistake. Okay. So let's do another one.
Yeah.
Let me just find something here. If not, I will just invent something. Just a second. No. Just a second, I'm searching.
No problem.
Look at the screen meanwhile, and let you know if you have any questions or something that doesn't seem clear to you.
That makes sense.
Okay. And as I said before, if you will just do it now alone, maybe you wouldn't succeed, and it won't make sense again. But this is just because you need to practice. It's exactly like somebody show you how to play tennis or do something in sport, and then it looks so easy. And then when you do it yourself, you're like, wow, I can do it. So it's just a matter of practicing. I'm just looking here for some questions, because I only find really easy ones, and I want to do something more complicated.
I wish I had the one from the test. It was not. But
you will get it, and we can cover it whenever you have it.
Yeah. I'm gonna wait for them to send it.
Yeah. Come on, I see here only very easy things. Okay, let me look for something else. Okay, let's do this one. So you have 7 over x squared minus 5x plus 3 5 minus x equals 5 over x. Yes, go ahead.
So x times x.
Yeah.
And then 5 times x. So then x. And then x minus 5. Just 5 minus x.
5 minus x, yeah. And this is x. Okay. How can you find the common? Copy the first one. Copy the first one. It has to be printed in your mind. Copy the first one.
Okay,
now what?
Flip the second one.
Yeah, great. How can I flip it?
Minus on the outside. And then x minus 5.
Yes. Okay, so now what should I add to the common denominator?
Just a -1. So the negative on the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we already have the x on the outside.
So that's it. And you've done it yourself.
Cool.
It took you 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let's do another one. Let me find here something more complicated. Okay, let's do this one. And the rest, you can just try it at home. So we have something here. It doesn't really matter. We have x squared minus 3. Sorry. Minus 3x minus x plus 1 over x minus 3 equals 1. Yeah, okay. Go ahead. Okay. By the way, I also, when you do it yourself, I also recommend using different colors like I do. It doesn't have to be, of course, the same colors, but different colors.
Okay. Yeah, my math teacher also, she like made us all buy highlighters every and use colors. Okay, x times x. 3 times x.
Yeah.
X on the outside, and then x minus 3. X minus 3. And yeah, so 2 times x. 2 times 3. So 2 on the outside, and then x minus 3.
Yes. So the common one?
X. Well, yeah. And then x minus 3.
Yeah. Copy
and then just add the 2.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. I hear relief in your voice, which is very nice. Let's do another one, and let's do it quickly. So I will not copy the all question. We have x squared minus 16 and 4 minus x.
Okay, so x times x. 4 times 4. X. 4x.
Again, sorry?
Just with 4x on the outside.
Do you have anything common between this one and this one?
No.
Okay, so you can't put anything outside.
I just leave it.
You could, but take a look at this again. Remember the formula we learned?
To flip it.
Not to flip it. Another formula which has something to do with squared and minus.
Okay.
Yeah.
The A2 and the B2. So x minus 16.
Almost.
Minus 4.
Yeah.
And then x plus 4.
Exactly. And now the common one. We copy the first. We copy the first. We copy the first. I can't stress that enough. We just copy the first. What do we do with the second one?
Flip the other one.
Okay, so I flipped it.
So minus, yeah. And then the other negative.
If I write something down and not waiting for you to tell me, it means that I know that you already know it.
Yeah.
And now what?
So add the negative. Just add the negative.
Yeah. That's it. So you should look for those things when you see squared and something that you can divide. 2 numbers. 16 can be 4 by 4. You said before, 64 is 8 times 8. Can be 9, 3 times 3, 25, 5 times 5, all of those crazy things. So you need to look for it. And after you practice, it will be very easy to find it. So you need to practice מכנה משותף. and just מכנה משותף. Don't even go to the משוואה ריבועית afterward. Just מכנה משותף. You can put 2 hours. Just I can send you something online, but if you can also look for yourself. So first of all,
yeah, I'll look to see. We have like this website from school, and we have the teacher also always sends things to the groups. I'll look as well.
Okay, and I also want to give you some homework. So we have here, and again, I'm not going to copy the whole question because I only want you to do מכנה משותף. So this is the first one. The second one is, and when you do it, just send me.
I'm sending you one that she had sent us, like a picture of a book, and I'll do those.
Just a second. Whenever you do it, just put it on a paper, write it down, send me WhatsApp picture, and I will see if you got it right. So I only want you to do what we did. Just find the common denominator between all of those. And one more. Oh, no, we did. Okay, now you sent me something. What was that?
I just sent you something that she had sent us to do.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So you need to do all of those 4.
Okay.
And go over the lesson that we just did. I will add the recording. And just find out, so the picture you sent me, do you need to do specific questions or?
No. This was from a while ago that she sent us.
Okay.
To practice. So, I'm done with school. I don't have any more stuff to do.
So what I wanted to do is to look at this picture and do the all of the. By the way, we just did. I think we did 79. But let's choose the one that looks the most horrible questions. Do them. So do like 5 to 10.
Okay.
If you can do of the most horrible ones. And if you're stuck, just send a picture. Hey, I'm stuck here. What's wrong?
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Sounds good.
Cool.
Okay, thank you.